One day, a 14-year-old girl was crowned empress. Kneeling in the golden throne hall, she heard officials shout, "Long live the new empress, mother of the nation." She did not yet understand what that title meant. She did not know that empress was not a crown but a golden hell. From that day forward, she lived in the central palace. Outwardly, it was the heart of the harem, but in truth, it was a prison for the soul. Each morning, she rose at the sound of drums, knelt in ritual. Every word she spoke had to be weighed. Every step observed. Love was forbidden, pain unspeakable. She was no longer a person, but a symbol. If her father was demoted, she had to write letters urging him to follow the rules. If her brother committed a crime, she had to sign his execution. Family to zeroed by order. Love became a luxury. When she grew old, if she survived, she would become empress. Dowager still confined, still responsible. If she died, it would not be freedom, but the start of another ritual. Some empresses lived through 3 reigns, imprisoned all their lives until near death. One asked her maid, "Am I still alive?" That question was not about life itself, but about the self. Have I ever truly lived as a person? On the western wall of the Forbidden City, there is a carving of 5 characters. Shindu Shou Zhonggol. Be cautious when alone. Guard the central palace. It is law warning a mantrand. A shackle. The empress was not the happiest woman. She was the most controlled. Not a symbol of glory, but of sacrifice. Not someone chosen, but someone who could never escape. There is a type of imprisonment more terrifying than cold, silent ceremony and protocol. In the Forbidden City, the empress was not merely a woman, but a symbol. Even if she fell from favor, even if she was hated, she had to continue to live, to perform, to embody the mother of the realm until her final breath. During the Ming Dynasty, Empress Xiao Duan, wife of Emperor Wanli, was one such figure. She lived peacefully, upholding ceremony, never seeking power. But her greatest pain was that she could neither reject the title of empress nor escape the role she had to play. Wanli adored consort Zhang and wished to make her son crown prince. But the empress had no children. The court was divided. Debate raged for decades. And though she had no say, the empress bore the burden of holding the court together. Each day she wore the phoenix crown, walked in step, and joined rituals as if nothing were wrong. Though the entire harem had turned against her, she smiled. Though she was merely a pawn, she stood at the pinnacle of the palace. There was a custom in the harem called 3 kotows at dawn. Each morning the empress had to kneel before the emperor's empty throne, bow 3 times, and submit a memorial of well wishes, though she knew he would never read it. Imagine a woman, alone, in a vast, cold hall, kneeling, saying aloud, "This concubine offers greetings to His Majesty." No reply, only echoes in the emptiness. This was the quietest form of hell, the hell of an unacknowledged existence. Though alive, she could not live as herself. She could not fall ill, for she presided over grand ceremonies. She could not show anger, for she symbolized harmony. She could not cry, for she embodied dignity. She could not die, for if the empress dies before the emperor, the realm would be shaken. If she did die, it had to be kept secret. The emperor's decree had to be awaited, the proper rites completed. Even death was no longer her own. There was one empress whose story remains hidden even today in the records of the Forbidden City. Her name was deliberately erased, her life altered and concealed as if she had never existed. But that silence only deepened the mystery. What had she truly endured? She bore the surname Ulanaro Empress Nara, the second wife of Emperor Qianlong. By all accounts, she should have been fortunate. Born into a noble Manchu clan, from a powerful lineage, dignified and poised, and elevated to empress just a few years after Qianlong ascended the throne. But unexpectedly, a few years later, she was deposed, confined, and died in silence, forbidden from being buried beside the emperor. What had she done wrong? Official history writes, the empress had a strange temperament. She cut her hair to insult the emperor. In Manchu culture, cutting one's hair was an unfilial actan insult to ancestors, akin to cursing the emperor's death. But for a woman who knew the palace rules so well, Why would she do such a thing? From scattered accounts by eunuchs and maids, a truth emerges. That day, Qianlong left the palace with his favored concubines, but not the empress. For 7 days, she was left cold and forgotten in the heart of the harem. When the emperor returned, she begged to see him, but was met with indifference. Despair, she cut her hair not to insult but to end her suffering. But Qianlong would not allow it. As the son of heaven, he could not be defied. And she, as the empress, had no right to rebel. And so, the charge of insulting the emperor was declared. She was deposed, locked in a cold palace no one allowed to enter. From then on, she lived like a shadow. Each morning, she dressed in royal robes, saluted the mirror, wrote ritual memorials to pay respects to His Majesty, though no one would read them. Meals were served cold and late, deliberately reminding her, "You are still alive, but you no longer matter." When she fell gravely ill, a eunuch begged the emperor to let her see him one last time. But Qianlong coldly replied, "She has already died in my heart. She passed away at 49. No children, no one to mourn her, no burial in the royal tomb." Centuries later, her remains were moved to a nameless grave. The record reads, "Deposed Empress." In the Chinese imperial palace, the most revered woman was the empress. Yet ironically, she was also the one most imprisoned. Not just by chains or stone walls, but by a kind of spiritual confinement, so deep that no one could see it. They often say becoming an empress is the ultimate glory for a woman. But in the Forbidden City, where every smile could be a hidden weapon and every glance a scheme, the empress's throne was the most beautiful golden cage ever built. People admired the empress's status, believing she ruled the harem, bowed to by ministers, served by thousands of maids. But few knew, because of that very title, she had no right to pain, no permission to err, and no freedom to choose. In the harem, a concubine could fall from favor and simply be moved elsewhere. A noble lady could be demoted, a palace maid punished by flogging. But if the empress made a single mistake, the consequences shook the entire court. Because she did not just represent herself, she symbolized the mother of all under heaven, the wife of the son of heaven. A single misstep, an ill-timed word, or even a fleeting look of unrest could lead to her being deposed, confined, or erased from the annals of history. And here's what few people know. Many empresses in Chinese history died alone.